Okay.
Switch to England.
Uh,
And we should be live.
I will
Always love you.
chill on my Discord and we can go live.
No, we are live, I think. 1 second.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Hello, 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 hello. Hell only. Hey, let me know if you can or cannot hear me. I think you can. We will just wait
Yes.
1 or 2 minutes, but yeah. Hi guys. Happy Friday evening. You must be really having a sad life since it's Friday evening and you're watching us stream, but we are happy you're here. Let's just wait a minute before we gonna get into things. We have a little bit of, I would say, educational stream today. We're going to be focusing more on BTC. I think there is going to be
Holy
some
fucking breakout.
changes in the order flow and stuff. We felt like it would be pretty cool to cover of the things that might be useful for you to look at in the future. Before we get into things, as always, stream is sponsored by Woo. If you like the streams, if you like the content, you can make a new account on Woo using the first link in the description. After you open the first trade, you will get all the benefits you see at that kind of bottom white banner at the bottom of the price. So with that being said, we can take a look at charts. I will cover BTC quickly, what I kind of feel like might be going on, what are going to be like the next good levels to look at, and so on and so forth. Starting on weekly, we streamed on what was it? Wednesday, like a week ago, yes, on Sunday basically. We had this ETF rejection, this weekly high relative volume candle. It was very kind of felt very indicative of like a deeper pullback. Then the 2 weeks after that, basically we made a rejection to the kind of other side. I basically were like in the middle of the range at that moment, so kind of like no trade zone, at least for me. We obviously broke out from it today or yesterday, whatever. Still kind of holding, basically held this yearly. So this is a quarterly rolling VWAP. Okay, this is like a whatever, if you use. I'm pretty sure if you use like moving averages or whatever, on like a bigger ones like 100, 200, there would be maybe some moving average over there which we tested, because these things kind of respect the trends, and we broke outside of the range on the lower time frame. We are kind of coming towards the highs. I saw a bunch of people today trying to short this, to be fair, which there is this kind of a over under structure. You can see basically this kind of a consolidation getting squeezed quite a bit. I haven't felt like this is the best short, especially since your invalidation is just like too big, and this will kind of brings us to more of order flow data. So which we'll do in a sec. Where is BTC going next? With the strength like this, I think there is really, if we would kind of go with some of the like supply and demand stuff and all of that, you can see basically that this was the kind of consolidation that acted as resistance here. We tested it as resistance again here. Failed to kind of make any kind of continuation. We basically stopped right around here. I don't know. For me, this is same as any kind of level of SR or whatever. The more tests things are getting, the more the weaker they get. You have very similar situation basically right around here. This was resistance. This was resistance again. For 2 times. Got broken. So it can still reject the price here, but testing something on a third test basically, especially one of the things is kind of like interesting to look at when it comes to support and resistance and supply and demand or whatever you decide to call it, is that if you have this kind of like rejection and then immediate retest again, I wouldn't say this is the most bearish thing you want to see. At this point I would like to at least see this kind of testing the 50k level first, and this is where the spot books are coming. Obviously, on like if you are not long now, I don't think that obviously I never really buy into stuff like this. Sometimes it works. Usually, I'm like the second I buy it, it's going to reverse. But I would say that this kind of consolidation. This is on the daily chart. You have a monthly rolling VWAP. You have this kind of high volume block. So if we manage to get 44k test, seems quite far off at the moment. I would be most likely looking to just get long. But looking at not this, but looking at this. This is the order book data, and this kind of brings me to something that I've been using way more lately. And if you were kind of following me, or if you were trading in general, like BTC back in the BitMEX days, like 2020, or then when the kind of flow moved from BitMEX to Bybit, all you kind of had to do was just looking at how perps are trading. To be fair, there was like not the whole order flow wasn't really a rocket science. You were just like looking at stuff like perp CVD, and when people get just like overextended, they get market usually done the opposite thing. I feel like it changed a little bit. I'm not saying that stuff like open interest, and the whole thing that you are looking at Velo, we can look at Velo as well for the time being. But I think this is something that is going to be very, very important alongside of obviously the ETF flows. But yeah, like we can see, open interest, we just like have this perp kind of T-wapping into it. There is nothing for me inside this range when it comes to like OI and funding and CVDs. There's like nothing that stood out for me that this is going to be kind of indicative of any breakout. What actually stood out for me, and what I've been using quite a lot, and this has like a big win rate when kind of timed properly. You need to understand this when it comes to especially stuff like this. This is not a kind of entry signal tool. These kind of order flow things is more of like a heads up tool when you should be kind of biased on one side or the other. And I'm talking about this order book suite. You can see I have this is Tradingriot. It's paid tool. I don't know how much it costs. It costs like $30 a month, if I'm not mistaken.
Use our referral link. No.
Yeah, use our referral link, which we don't have. We are not sponsored by Tradingriot. But it's only one I can think of which offers it. There is also this one, TRDR. This one is also pretty cool actually, because it aggregates the data. You can see I'm not even logged in, and I don't have a paid version, I think. But yeah, this kind of order book depth aggregation is really, really nice tool, I think, for a lot of trades. And outside of like a boomer order flow coming in, obviously spot exchanges and spot in general will have this kind of a heavier hand over the perps. So, and it's also super simple, it's not really a rocket science. You're just gonna slap the order book suite into all the charts. You can see I'm watching Binance, Coinbase, Bitfinex, and Kraken. These I feel like are like four major spot exchanges. There's also Bitstamp, but I just found these four more reliable. Yeah, and there is only.
I'm not surprised that Coinbase is so populated.
Yeah. To be fair, if you want to even simplify things, you can very well get away with just looking at Coinbase and Binance. These two give always the cleanest signals. Bitfinex, when Bitfinex is skewed heavily to one side, is also very strong, but it's not that often. I would say Coinbase and Binance, cleanest ones. Bitfinex and Kraken, when they actually get heavily skewed, is very nice signal. You can see, for example, here on Bitfinex, throughout the October, November, very heavily buying, supporting the price. These are also resting bits. But yeah, you can see basically these kind of areas where just order book, and basically how this tool works is like compares the whole order book and shows you what side is more skewed than the other. Obviously there's a lot of spoofing coming in spot, but spoofing is generally done with like from one person, one kind of order or whatever. But if you get this kind of a cumulative size, supporting the price at the same time, it's usually genuine. sign of supply and demand. We spoke about this on the last stream. You can see basically there are right off the bat there are basically two trades that you could have taken in here. First one was the short when the ETF got out. This is the one that I took, and that we talked about last week or this week on Sunday. And then obviously you had this kind of a nice bottoming signal on the 23rd. I haven't traded this one, but yeah, once again you can see how kind of very precisely this plotted the bottom, and you can see even if I'm going to zoom out a little bit on Binance for last 2 months, we had this kind of demand, this led to the sell-off. We had it here, sell-off, skewed on the bid side, run to the upside, and same on Coinbase pretty much. Usually you want to like both of these, or like all of these exchanges doing the same thing. You can see Bitfinex, they got literally early. There was this last bit resting here, and it actually kind of traded into it, which was basically the bottom on the BTC. This, to be fair, works pretty much for Bitcoin and ETH. For altcoins, I don't think it's that reliable, but yeah, both BTC and ETH is a super nice tool. Someone asking for smaller coins. Yeah, for smaller coins, I tend to look at it as well. There's a bunch of coins you can look at on Tradingriot. You can also use mob chart. The mob chart is free. It doesn't have the order book suite, but you'll just kind of like eyeball the orders. I don't know. I found this really to be kind of a reliable thing when it comes to Bitcoin and ETH. To be fair, like market is so correlated as well. It's like usually when BTC is going up, everything else is going up anyway. So it's kind of that meme. It's like the guy looking at himself in the mirror when you are like long some shitcoin while BTC is up like twice as much basically, and you think you caught this huge narrative. But yeah, it's
following Bitcoin.
If you like, I think this has been a case for like last year or whatever, or ever since this kind of rally started in October. Like there was very small, if any, window, and Runner might correct me if I'm wrong, where alts did exceptionally well without Bitcoin being strong as well.
I mean,
we basically,
at least historically, it's always been like the ETH BTC
Yeah.
to behave, which is basically down
Yeah.
only. So
like we had zero big pullbacks on Bitcoin since we started moving up, and you can see, for example, even here in August, you can see this is like the biggest skew on that suite, basically on like right at the bottom, when we had this huge flush in August. Look how much these kind of buyers stepped up. So yeah, this is very good tool, and like I said,
but I have a
I don't think
question.
like, yeah, sure.
I have a lot of questions because let's pretend I clearly don't know shit since I'm in ETH BTC, but what are those lines? What do they represent? Maybe a bit of difference between limit and market orders.
These lines here, yeah, these are just like resting orders. It's it's kind of the thing that it's obviously everyone can like place them, pull them, whatever. I don't think they are super important as well. There is a delta indicator down at the bottom, just delta bars. When these kind of spike up a lot, like usually, it's kind of counterintuitive, because when these spike up green a lot at the bottoms, it means that or sorry, other way around, like this, for example, when they spike up green at the top, it very often means that like the limit sell order was filled and someone bought into it. So yeah, like when you have these big spikes, like you can see here at the top, there was not many of them at the bottom. You can see there was like a little bit on Coinbase here. Like when they spike up like this, it actually means like 90% of time that there are limit cells getting filled, but they are green because like if you place a limit, so it's like resting order, someone has to market buy into it. So yeah, it's a little kind of wonky, but whatever. So yeah, but the lines themselves are not as that important. You can kind of, there's this indicator called volume bubbles, which will kind they should change actually. Like it's, for some reason, let me just reload this, because like it's should look like this but not actually like this. They should like size up, depends on the there's like they don't really work, but in like ideal case they should be like different sizes based on how much was bought and sold. But yeah, I don't have it here because it
Looks like
tends to kind
bubblegum.
of fuck up like this. But yeah, usually when you see these kind of spikes in delta, and market is like going up, it's actually someone selling into it.
Maybe let's go even step lower. What is delta? Not
Yeah, there's
not
like just a
XBT.
difference between like market buys and market sells. Like every candle has a delta, meaning basically the sum difference of market buying and market selling. So it's just
Yeah.
like a number
And I
of
think these things are really important because, like, to you, I can wake you up 3 a.m. After a party, you will be able to say this. But I feel like it's important, just sometimes repeat the
yeah.
difference between limit and the market orders, especially with context to even price moving, right? Like,
And
if
this
people
is
only
why
use
like
limit orders, then means nothing.
something like CVD is very often misused on higher time frames, and sometimes like market goes down, CVD is going up the whole time. People just kind of don't understand that. This is why I don't like to use CVD on any kind of higher time frames. Is because like there can be CVD going up, meaning market orders are coming in, but it's actually limit selling into that. Because like I said, if there is a limit sell order and someone like market buys into it, it's bearish obviously, but the CVD will actually tick up because that there was that kind of market buy that triggered it. So yeah, it's really like I know like a lot of people like to go very fancy with this and look at stuff like there are some nice things, like for example this kind of funding rate premium type of thing. Like premium on BTC was basically negative, which is kind of bullish. Considering we are, I can see where the premium was also negative here at the bottom. It's kind of nice thing to see after we are up so much. But yeah, for like the spot buys and where I feel like there's going to be a lot of kind of importance coming in is going to be the spot market. And yeah, for like the simplicity's sake, like I said, I just look at these things. You can look at this like once a day, once every 3 days basically. This should you kind of give you the heads up. Then either like I was short from here. I didn't actually held it all the way down. I closed it over here. But like if you're short, you see a bunch of buyers kind of stepping in. Demand is increasing. You either close short. Ideally, obviously flip long. But yeah, it's very simple tool. Like I said, I just feel like it's going to be very very important coming forward. You can do the trading light route, or you can do the TRDR route where it's actually aggregated. And you just kind of go here, choose spot. You can see I have just bunch of exchanges here. Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, and what was the last one? Bitfinex are going to be the most important. I feel like, I don't feel like this is going to change a lot in the future. So yeah,
I have
one of the
few.
tools.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
No. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was basically it. I just wanted to kind of show this. Obviously, a little bit of hindsight here, but once you start tracking it, you will see that more often than not is really going to be a nice indication of market turning. Just kind of don't be that person when you will see it right here and you will just immediately market buy. Obviously, you need to kind of think about risk to reward ratios and stuff like that to kind of make it worth your time basically. Even like here when this first flip red was basically here, this is not the worst spot to sell. Or even here, if you shorted here, you'd most likely had to sit throughout this kind of thing, so you can just use like price action or whatever. See these kind of wicks rejecting. Much better place to short than just like immediately on the first spike down, just going all in and hoping for the best.
Yeah, why I wanted to have this a bit of fuck, it sounds cringe to call like educational, but you know what I mean. Is I want to flip to my screen for a sec. Is like we have basically Bitcoin going up fucking only for months now, and a lot of the data that even from like perspective of what Adam and I am quote unquote teaching or writing about, is like it's the data you see from exchanges, right? Which first and foremost can always be skewed, and that's always going to be an argument, right? People are going to say, you know, how do you trust data from Binance? It's an offshore exchange, blah blah blah. But for example, up until the whole ETF bullshit, we couldn't really see data from CME, for example, right? So I just really want to make it, you know, repeat it, because we agree that it's very important. It's like in Velo, for example, you can go to TradFi, you can look out, for example, open interest from CME futures in coins. I would recommend, because, you know, price going up and down, and, you know, this market's becoming more and more relevant. And now with the ETF issuers, right, it's like they're doing majority of the volume almost when you discount the zero fee pairs. What I'm trying to say is, I think kind of Bitcoin order flow is going to become more and more useless, unfortunately, with Bitcoin specifically. Maybe with ETH, if ETF is approved, because like you're looking, let's say in Velo or Coinalyze, whatever app platform you might be using, but you don't see the full picture. While with altcoins, I think it might be better going forward.
Yeah, there is one thing which I think no one really mentioned. It's like super popular in the TradFi space when it comes to actually like quote unquote order flow, because like if you ever traded, you know, TradFi, and not, I don't mean day trading, but like like predicting the bigger moves. The open interest is only updated once a day, so there is like not much you can do there, and you know it gets kind of fucked up a lot because you know these contracts expire either every 3 months or 1 month. But there is this thing called Commitment of Traders report. This is getting published once a week by COT. Sorry, the CFTC. This is getting published once a week. There is actually a little bit of a delay, like 2-day delay as well, once it gets live to everyone. So this is definitely like a bigger picture thing. You cannot use this if you are, you know, trading 1 minute chart, or even like, you know, this is like a weekly kind of turns into the market, and it was, you know, like obviously BTC futures, they are live since 2017, end of 2017, but they were not that useful. But as you could see, you know, Runner showed that Velo chart of the open interest of Bitcoin, which, you know, kind of skyrocketed in the last 6 months, and because of that, I think this is going to be super important, as in the legacy markets, every kind of large entity, you know, there's like this kind of professional accounting, which means basically if you have a bunch of money, you have to report your positions every week to CFTC. And they publish this report. You know, it's free for everyone. There is many websites that are going to publish this. I use this, and I can actually show you even the TradingView indicator for this. This is tradingster.com. You can see these are all the CME markets that get their reports published, and you can see here there is a Bitcoin. There's also ETH, which you can see on the...
No, don't show ETH. Fuck ETH.
There is also ETH. You can see that on TradingView. It's not here on this website. But basically, when you're gonna go to COT report, you can see basically all the types of market participants and how they are kind of positioned. And we can see here net positions, but you can also see longs, and you can also see, you know, shorts. This is very kind of clear report that will give you insights of the actions. They are separated into commercials and non-commercials. This is obviously going to differ based on the market. You know, if you're going to look at, for example, you can see for BTC, there are asset managers, leverage money, and there are kind of these other and non-reportable, and dealers, which are usually just market makers. If you would
They
go
don't sell cocaine.
If you would go to something different like corn, you know, there are obviously like swaps, you know, there are like different participants in the markets, like way too detailed, whatever. What is important here for BTC, you can kind of click this and get rid of all of these, and they are going to be just asset managers and leverage money. Leverage money is obviously your kind of large retail traders, you know, there's obviously people with a bunch of money. Asset managers, these are hedge funds, you know, these are all the kind of big players that are important. And you can see how these positions heavily started changing since October. You can see how much this basically doubled. And yeah, this is going to be, you can view these things as kind of a smart money against retail traders. It's not easy as that, but you generally want to be looking at how these people are positioned. You want to be following these asset managers. These are the commercials, and then the leverage monies are going to be like non-commercials. And you can see from like BTC point of view, this is looking pretty healthy. There's like almost no shorts reported on these asset managers. And they basically been just heavily long ever since start of this rally. And this is once again something that I tend to look at in the legacy markets, and it can be very helpful.
Dude, nice God candle on Bitcoin. What the fuck is? Let me guess what ETHBTC is doing.
So yeah, this is, and you can just go to the trading view, just type COT, and you will have the indicator. You will actually have to go. It's like this, and you can see the red ones are the commercials, and the green ones are your kind of leveraged money, retail traders, whatever. And it's the viewing it like this, I would ignore basically everything before the rally, because this is only the time when this started to become relevant. There is one different indicator, which is called COT index, is done by this guy right here, and it's going to like index your COT reports to make it like more like oversold, overbought territory, so it's like a little easier to see. This is where I have these kind of large money. Once again, you want to be looking at this on like a weekly time frame. And yeah, these are just like positions of bigger institutional traders, whatever you want to call them. Like I said, October onwards is really the most important part, and will be important coming into the future with ETF and everything. But yeah, if I would also add can I do this here? I cannot do it here. The other side. But yeah, this is pretty interesting indicator. You can just kind of check out this website every week. Once again, it's very similar to the spot books, but even this is on like a bigger time frame, where this can take literally weeks for like a big market turn. So don't be too like seeing someone is closing positions or whatever and thinking immediately it's over. But something that you want to probably kind of familiarize with a little bit, and I might do like a blog post on it or whatever, with like examples where this can really play a nice kind of confluence for your trades and ideas.
Because look, maybe let me be a bit more harsh about it. Like the influencers on Twitter posting emotional and sensational posts, these people trade tiny accounts. Like these guys just fucking scream into the void, right? Then it was a bit of a meme, like institutions are coming, but institutions actually are coming and came, right? So if I switch to mine, I have a data from, this is what, Farside Investors, some UK fund. Like just for example, yesterday with the whole ETF shit, we don't want to go too deep into it. Basically, people can now have access to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin became legit as an asset class. And yesterday alone, we had inflow of $405 million dollars, which, like when you think about it, even with context, for example, when Michael Saylor is in MicroStrategy or TVApping Taylor Swift, fucking hell.
Yeah,
Super Bowl weekend.
BTC this whole time.
Taylor Swift is stealing your coins. It's like obviously look, this data is like one example data point, but like Bitcoin is up like 20% in last 3 days, and these people are buying. Like it's not your favorite influencer who said, "Did you buy the bottom anon wink emoji?" Mm-hmm. No, it's these guys buying, and I think it's, even though it's like might be sound like a bit cringe, but actual change of paradigm, where I think it's very healthy for us to be open-minded to just trying to look at some other data points. And I personally think this will only affect for now Bitcoin, maybe ETH. I know people trade a lot of on-chain, people trade like new coins, whatever. But like, yeah, I think it's really healthy to pay attention to these things, because there's massive inflows. God knows. And what would be very interesting to see, hopefully we will get to live that day. I doubt it when I look at charts of traditional markets, and when you look how all these traditional ETFs are looking, which is basically over the last 80 years up only. So we'll see how that goes. But imagine
dying and charting I bit.
Like imagine like an
Nice.
outflow of $300 million a day, how that would affect price action. I mean, you're either completely delusional or just refuse to, I don't know, open your eyes. Like we're literally breaking out, if you're going back to technicals, on daily, on weekly, on monthly, and even order flow. Like this is some of the craziest order flows I've seen actually. Like this reminds me of some like DWF coin order flow, but it's Bitcoin, which is ridiculous. So yeah, I know there isn't that much conclusion. I think it's just important and kind of sucks because something I've been personally learning for so long is kind of, I don't want to say out of the window, definitely not, but feel like I have to restart the learning process. And I mean,
I guess it like depends a lot on what time frame you are going to be trading. I still feel like on like intraday day trading basis, obviously moves like today don't happen every day, and a lot of like intraday price action is still going to be like people just aping futures and like liquidations causing few percentage moves here and there. So I don't think this is like it's not me saying and I don't think being like, oh, order flow as it is gone. It's dead edge. It's not going to be worth at all anything. I don't think this really like for intraday trading as well. But like if you want to be kind of swing trading, if you want to be catching bigger market moves, like for me, for example, this is something that I since I kind of switched to swing trading in last year, and I really hold trades for at least a couple of days now, sometimes even longer. I'm kind of very actively reaching into. Yeah, this is just a chart on my end. This is YM. This is Dow Jones. With the COT index, you can see basically when this kind of it's complete. It's like opposite of the RSI thing when when this is like overbought. This is actually the commercials, the large kind of fund traders stepping in. So you want to be looking at longs. When this is under, this usually means it's they are exiting positions or getting short. So you want to be short, and you can see on YM on this is Dow Jones. It's not always clean like this. Not nothing is always clean all the time, but you can see basically these are like the large market turning events inside this range. This is also when it got really down, basically at the top. So something like this, you really need to, I feel like it's one of those like memes, like when you were kind of used to trade against BitMEX apes, Bybit apes, and so on and so forth. Now you are kind of trading against
Larry Fink
yeah
and his black cock.
Yeah, basically. So you want to be really kind of trying to follow this kind of a large money, especially if you want to hold trades for a bit and not only like day trade and stuff like that. So pretty interesting stuff here. A lot of things. Now, this is kind of a cool thing about the trading and the markets that like it's always changing. There's like always things you can learn and stuff like that. This is called COT index. COT index is this one. Yeah, it's this one.
I'm gonna send it in the chat as well.
Yeah.
And the website for this was also cut, alright?
Yeah. And the website for it is, but the indicator I think is better. I think that is the one which I liked even more than this one, and I cannot find it now. So, is this one? This DCT COT index, which is not loading. Let me just. You want to be looking at this over 26 or 156 weeks. I don't know why it's not working though. So you are out of luck. Yeah, but the indexed ones are better because obviously if you just look at like simple COT data, you want to be as with everything kind of trading it at extremes, and when it's like simple like this, you don't really know when the extremes are. The index indicators are like normalizing the data. I don't know if you ever like use like normalized indicators basically, which are like oscillators, like RSI and fucking stochastics and all this shit is like normalized moving averages, so they are plotted within like the band. So like this can be like is like generally trending whatever way, but like if you use the normalized indicator, I don't know why this is not fucking working. This is the one that I believe I use personally, and it's just like yeah, it's just not gonna
It's
work.
fine. We're gonna pretend it never happened.
Yeah. Oh, it works now. Okay, because this one is also showing you the non-commercials. So like, commercials are the big money you want to be following. Non-commercials are these kind of like retail traders type of situation where you want to be fading against. You can see here, for example, on gold, when we hit this kind of bottom here, the commercial, the blue line, heavily in long positions. The non-commercials are mostly shorting or closing positions. But you can see that this kind of firstly popped here and we hit a huge candle down. So this is, like I said, it's higher time frame tool, it's a fucking weekly chart. And you need to use like some sort of your own, execution strategy, whatever you use in price action, volume profile, moving averages, whatever it is. But this is only giving you heads up. This is basically giving you a little bit of bias to go long or short, but this is not actually, like a long or short signal tool, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If you don't mind, let me open people. We have a TradFi chart for way too long. Can I do a bit of summary and you'll help me? I'll switch to mine.
Sure.
Maybe so the summary with this would be, I guess, to be cautious, or like what type of market participants, right? Because I think it's important because maybe if people, like if you only trade on-chain shitcoins, like you're trading against a fellow autist from Crypto Twitter, right? Like, or against the developer, like there isn't that much smart money, respectfully. So like who are the retail MMs, market makers, funds or whatever, big players. And maybe one thing, I know you mentioned this to me person in like some private conversation. I think it's important to understand the lower you go in this, I know should be funds above MMs or whatever, but like these people are trading very different. First of all, size of the account, of course, but also they have very different risk profiles, right? Meaning like they don't actually leverage that much very often, right? We discussed it with regards to CME participants. Again, I'm only showing this and saying this, and I know we might be repeating ourselves, but if you look at open interest of Bitcoin, and this is, as you can see, CME is at number 1. Right, in last 24 hours, actually 11% increase. So I personally think, and feel free to correct me, is that the boomers right now are either trading on Coinbase or via ETFs. That's their equivalent of spot. And if they want to go leveraged or hedge it, they would use CME for that.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? So, and these people to trade on CME, and I'll let you speak.
Well,
like can you go 20x leveraged on CME?
No, it works different way. And I'm not exactly sure. I can take a look at this. There's like the leverage is like baked into the CME contract. So you can go to CME website, and you will see here in specs. Basically, I think it's like $1. It's basically one contract on the CME is 5 BTC. And
1 in BTC, right? Like 1 to 5, basically. Or 5 to 1.
Yeah, it's like when you buy one Bitcoin contract, you can see there is this Bitcoin contract unit. It's 5 Bitcoin, and usually you need like, I don't know. I think you need in margin. It depends. I think you need like at least 50K in margin to open the one contract. So like 5 BTC. So yeah, like definitely people that trade on CME, like they have money. Like it's really.
And they're not retards, right? That's the point. Like, respectfully, I am definitely a retard. Adam can sometimes be too. So if, going back to this, there's most open interest by, it's not the same market participants. I hope it's,
here on Tradeowait, which is one of the future brokerages that offers actually Bitcoin, you need 54K margin to open one BTC position. There are some like different ones. The Coinbase has now own BTC futures, which they have. But like the CME contract, the one that it's in the OI, you need 20K actually. So the leverage is when it's 5 BTC, someone might do the math faster than me, 20K margin to open 5 Bitcoin. So it's like what? 5-1, something like that. Yeah, so this is, and you need 54k if you, which most of these people do. If you want to hold this is the second tab here, is if you want to hold the position overnight. You, in traditional markets, you actually need more margin. So yeah, it's like 20, then 54k. So it's like, the point is you definitely need a little more money than, logging into Binance, whatever, and just like going max leverage, and like you don't really need that much in your account. So these people are a little more knowledgeable, let's say, especially these kind of like commercials, fund managers and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so maybe a bit back, then market makers. Let's address some my favorite. This is my fucking favorite. Market makers are hunting my stops.
Yeah, that's not really the thing.
Are you telling me that Andrei Grachev, the WF himself, is not riding around Dubai in a Lada from Delta XBT hunting my 4-digit position?
Okay, I think there might be actually an exception, and he might be actually fucking like doing something illegal with all of these altcoins. But in general, no. Like, market makers only, like provide liquidity, and you can basically see this.
Just like your uncle.
Yeah, let me show this to you on some shitcoin. Actually, it's very simple to explain that. If I'm gonna go to mob chart, there is this cool feature, the screener. We're probably not going to cover this today. This is kind of nice thing to look for new positions. If I'm going to look at, for example, Pepe, as you can see, it's like popping up here in a bunch of places. It's not because there is a actual demand for Pepe, but you can see how the orders here, this is a 15-minute chart, this is like barely moving. You can see these kind of shiny orders around the nearest price action. These are all the market makers basically just providing liquidity, making money on spread. And you can see this is why this trades like complete shit and is like ultra slow and like not moving at all, because people really just like make markets here, and they like get filled here, buy here, and so on and so forth. And this is basically what market makers are doing, and so, how they are making money.
If I may try to, in even more retarded English, is they think of it like they buy, if price is 1, they would try to buy at 0.99 and sell at 101.
Yeah,
it's basically the spread is how they make money. Obviously, their fees and deals with exchanges might be different. That's why often, and you know much more. So I know I'll basically speak like a student at a exam, and you can correct me. But if there's a massive liquidation event, it makes no sense for market makers to be making these markets. Then why you see these liquidation cascades on these illiquid shitcoins? Because Bitcoin farts 3%. First and foremost, there is no Asian quant sitting at a computer. It's all for the most part algo. And like if you have a big flush, meaning let's say certain amount of ticks or volatility in certain amount of time, they just turn off the algo. That's why you have a 20% flush in like a minute.
Yeah. Basically, like if there would be some sort of catastrophic event now, these orders would just get pulled. And there was actually something about this thing. The Pepe, there was like some FAT, or like it sold off a lot, but it sold off kind of very slowly. But you can see it even here, like when market kind of picks up the pace in this kind of section, you can see how these are like very shiny now, and how this is not moving basically at all compared to like this section right here. When I'm going to zoom in, you can see there are basically no orders, almost no orders. So yeah, when market's like picking up the pace, or here, this is like a good example, this is getting very quickly sold off. No liquidity is provided at the moment, and they will just really pop back the algo on once, this kind of dies down, and, is doing basically this rather than looking for shit like this right here.
And like, I'm not going to say tickers, but not all exchanges you might be using, not all pairs have like the same market makers. So it's like everybody works a bit different. But yeah, this is going a bit too deep, but I would just want to clarify market makers, as we explained, make money on the spread, and there is some alpha in this. Hopefully I don't go to jail for this, but how most of these market makers actually make money is they make these something called like call option deals with new tokens, right? So I'm not going to go into depth, but basically they make money on that. That's how they actually make money. From a side of like we have a brand recognition, we have a name, and we are gonna help you market make the token, rather than trading against you for 1 cent profit.
Yeah, it's definitely like a lot of, and this is why I like almost don't like and like hate to trade a lot of these like new coins, which obviously is something that always attracts so many people, because like it's just so much shit going on. Like the Jupiter, for example, is one of the examples. Like all of the shit is going on from the dev. Like the whole mental health break, and they taking out 200
$50 million.
yeah, something like insane like this. So, and or like you have this fundamental shit, or you have this kind of like market makers deals. Obviously DWF, I don't think they are, everything they do is completely legal. Like running coins on fucking negative funding and shit like this. So like it's almost like what I prefer to trade, and you can see even here on my watch list, I have these kind of like new shit coins here. But other than that, I think everything that is here is fairly big and popular. Is because like I see trading these things as kind of like a zero sum game, which trading really should be. For like every buyer you have a seller, and someone like I'm fine losing money on shit like Solana. I'm fine losing money on BTC.
Fuck this.
Like when I take a loss on Bitcoin, it's like I'm wrong, and it's like this is what it is. It's like market doing what it does. But like when I trade new coins, when I trade these like less liquid coins, this is like I feel like there is just so much stuff going on behind the scenes, and it's not really not always a zero sum game, basically, which is something that I would much rather do than fucking trading some of these like DWF coins or whatever.
I'm switching to mine, so we move on. Then we have like funds and big players. Depends if traditional or native. Like we've seen it all 2022, all the idiots basically blowing up at the bottom, being over leveraged. But problem was mostly borrowing lending market, and just unsustainable
Yeah.
deals, and very leveraged by default, and just by also very being, how to say it? I hate the term delta neutral. Fuck, I hate that term. But they all basically just longing. It's like all of CT. The only trade they can actually take is long only. And if you're underwater long and you're leveraged and you martingale into your long and it keeps going lower, that's what happens. But there's also smart funds, and people. Generally speaking, I would say bigger the account, the longer the time frame of an investment thesis as well. Like me and you, we might legitimately take several trades before we have an next stream and then discuss it together. These guys buy Bitcoin. They're like your classic dollar cost average type guy, right? And they just hold it until your your grandchildren retire.
And it's kind of funny though. Like I read some article this week about like hedge funds in the US. They like basically their clients are leaving if they are not holding Nvidia. Because like Nvidia is obviously up so much in the last few weeks, and like it came to the point that like they are like really the clients that place these money into the hedge fund, they really want to have this exposure, and it's almost like mandatory for them to just like have Nvidia in the sheet. And this is I'm not saying this is going to be the case for Bitcoin. Obviously I'm not going to all bull tinfoil hat with this, but like at the end of the day, like I said, for example, in the COT reports, you have like different, like there are very different smart money or like large funds trading something like fucking coffee futures, where they like use this for hedging and so on and so forth, compared to like Bitcoin, which doesn't really have a use case. Like let's really be fair here.
But in their heads, right? Especially like
yeah,
at least
yeah,
with
like
us, you
like
can make
Bitcoin.
a case, ordinals or whatnot, but.
Yeah, this is like a pure speculation, for people, and it always be, there's like no reason to try to be cute about it and feel like because BTC is at almost 50K, is the future of payments or whatever. So yeah, it's just like when you see these large funds buying and stepping in, it's only the speculative value, and this is why I feel like it's very important to track the flows of it now, is because like when they start to exit, and these things are going to be public, on either the COT reports or on the ETF inflows and outflows. This is like I said, they have to basically report these things, so there is no way around it. Like when they start to exit, you will know that, and it will mean that there is like this no kind of like they don't want to be holding this, like speculating on this anymore, and this is not something you will see on the open interest, for example. This is not, no one is going to trade perps on this, for example. But you, for example, might see it on the like the spot books I showed on the trading line, because obviously if someone would take it out, like they don't want to sell ETF, but they want to maybe sell spot BTC, they might be holding, once again, there is no way to hide it. If you're gonna sell at like centralized exchange, like they can use Coinbase to exit large sums, we will be able to find it, but you are not going to be, you won't see it on like Bybit open interest, for example. So yeah, just different participants using different venues, and you kind of need to understand, and especially like the time horizons. Once again, like it's not things like these will take, once again, weeks, to kind of distribute, rather than send it down with one red candle type of thing.
And also, like, what is the market cap of Bitcoin? And like, I like this idea. You hear it a lot with altcoins. That's why I'm bringing it up. Oh, the FDV. While 92% of all the tokens are like locked in like Azkaban for another 152 years, when like people lose access to the wallet, like the meme. So market cap of Bitcoin like is relatively high, but when you actually look how much cringe, but Satoshi wallet holds, U.S. government, when you like actually add up and look at like the liquidity on exchanges or balance on exchanges, whatever it's called these days, it doesn't take that much money to move it. Like it's actually a very illiquid market compared to what, as you mentioned and had this rant on these big guys trading. Like, and you traded bonds, right? So like you knew what it takes to move it, like one tick, like million, right? Versus Bitcoin, like you fart few $1 million market buy and like you move this shit.
Yeah. Definitely.
So if you have I know I sound like a bulltard, but like if you have $400 million committing to going long Bitcoin because it's the future of digital gold, is gonna go up. That's why we see it break out again. And I don't know. I'm just trying to like make currently, because this is very new, right? We couldn't like prepare for this. It's a new situation because it's been now 1 month since ETFs were approved. First few days of the inflows were pretty disappointing. That's why we had the sell-off. And now we have 400 million a day. And I just wonder, how that will translate to price action. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball. If I had, I would not be streaming here with, no offense, guys. But, just print all the money and goodbye. But like, if we have like several months of massive inflows, like what could it do? Especially with the narrative halving, right? When rewards for miners get slashed in half.
And like you can see this even like when I think we can kind of now look at the hindsight in like how the whole sell the news event kind of played out, because obviously this is the top in 2017 was BTC CME futures, and you can see basically we entered like a whole new bear market from that. Like we had to sell the news, like obviously it depends on what time frame you're looking at. If you are going to look at H1, which it took like 12 days, but you could make a lot of money if you short here and close somewhere around that. But like this is very kind of like what I like about this, and what I feel like this is decently bullish, is the fact that like these inflows are really coming in. It's not like something launched. Like I remember when I think like when CME futures launched, there was like no volume. Like no one.
Yeah, exactly.
Gave a
I was
shit,
doing
basically.
like I'm doing more volume than that shit.
Yeah, but like now, obviously start was a little bit disappointing and market was kind of reacting to that. We sold off for 2 weeks, but now, you can very clearly see the market is really reacting to this kind of a new piece of information, if you will, because it's really a new piece of information.
So yeah, I think there'll be a lot of, from like especially order flow LARPs like Adam and I had to say "and I" before Adam disconnects. Like, it would be interesting. I would love to see how people adjust. And this is basically what we're doing with this stream. Is like holding ourselves, future selves, accountable for, like, imagine I sit on Velo data and like, why the fuck there is divergence between DYDX and OKX when you have CME bros doing 10 times the volume and going max long, and I'm like, no, this is bullshit. Like, we need to fucking adjust, and this is a call for help.
Yeah, and it's like like for example, and this is pretty clear here. Like you can see how much OI came in today on futures. Which usually is kind of like a decent. It's like 18,000, 19,000 BTC. Like this is like this used to be like, okay, I can short this very soon. Like this is most of these people are going long, although funding is going a little lower, so there might be some shorts or whatever. But like like this tends to be like, you see OI going like this, this would be very close to getting some like mean reversion signals. You can see even like the top basically this was a little later than that. But like when we had these kind of spikes in,
right, this used to be such
it used to work much better than just like like you have this, but then it comes out that like ETF has 400 million inflows at the same time, so it's like,
yeah.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying this data is...
Look at the spot CVD, dude. It looks like fucking XRP. Remember when we did the XRP?
Yeah.
And this is high time frame. Like
grinds up
it just
slowly.
looks very different. I'm too autistic, and I have spent thousands of hours looking at this very chart to tell you that something has changed.
Even like open interest, like it's basically, if we're gonna take a look at October 23rd.
Look at FTX. Here. If you zoom out even more.
Yeah.
Look at FTX.
Open interest, yeah. Basically, when FTX imploded, the OI is the same as it was back then.
On centralized exchanges.
On centralized exchanges, like 200,000 BTC. And, look at the difference in price. So, the point here is, obviously, there are going to be situations like, for example, this, when we had this huge sell-off in January. This, I believe, this was before ETF went live. Like, this was very heavily driven by the fact that, funding rates were going a little bit insane. They were spiking up. You had this kind of a flush of leverage. But other than that, I just don't think this kind of thing will just cut it by itself, going forward. And maybe on some altcoins it will. I traded a bunch of alts. I for example longed Celestia. I'm not long anymore, but I was longing somewhere in here. My whole idea was kind of like, this was here. Like there is OI increase. It looks super small on H4 time frame for some reason. Like OI is coming in, funding is negative, nice long. Like these more like simple trades that still are going to be present in altcoins. I just held it for a bit. I think I talked about it on Sunday, and like stuff like bunch of leverage entering, creating the top, on altcoins.
But altcoins, right? That's the kind of
This is still going to be because obviously for altcoins there is no like there is only spot and there are only futures, and Binance and Bybit doing like 80% of the volume. Maybe like 70%, and you have 10% from other exchanges, and then you have like on-chain stuff. But yeah, there is like no other way. There's no CME, there's no ETF, whatever. So these will be still cool if you are into trading alts. I will definitely not give it up on this at all. But for BTC, I just really feel like I don't even remember like last time I took a trade on Bitcoin where I was only basing it from like a perps type of situation. On ETH, it's still, I feel like also it would be like viable one to look at. I know that I took some trades here on ETH when I solely kind of based it. Yeah, I think something around here.
Bitcoin went down 0.1%. BTC up 0. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay, so now it's time for the ETH.
I'm changing chart to mine. Fuck you.
Where is this OI coming from? This is like
half of it is like me.
No, but I don't think this is like correct on Velo, because there is like USDT perp. There would be
there is USDT perp. There is actually ifbtc.p on Binance. That's
really? So these data are actually accurate on.
Yes.
So why is funding rate like up only when this is going down?
Bro, why are you asking me so many hard questions?
Why it's not funding rate here like negative 90% when it's just
can we
down
talk
only.
about the
And
dealers? Can I talk to a dealer? It's Friday evening.
I
Fuck.
think ETH-BTC
No, can we
is
not?
still. I don't
Sir,
think
this
it's
is the
over
reason
yet.
why I'm drinking Beefeater here. No,
Well, like
it's over.
it will either hold here, and this is like just fat rather XBT, and like we will do the reversal, or it's going down to like 0.03. Yeah.
Okay, guys,
Anyway,
that was a nice stream.
yeah,
No, look,
we've been live we've been live for an hour.
I'm ending
I think
myself. No, I really think this was one of the
yeah,
most useful streams. I don't know.
I think definitely there is a lot of you could take from this.
Counter trade me.
Someone is asking about alt rotations.
New
To be
coin.
fair,
Whatever is
new coins.
whatever is next Binance listing, go
I
long that, short the
the
previous
o-
listing.
the
Literally.
only altcoin trade I took this week was the best performer currently. I was shorting Sui, which I did here. I luckily closed it before this
No,
this
no, market
15%
closed it
till
for
now.
you because you had stop loss at break even. Don't try to sound like.
Should I open the chart? There are arrows. I can defend myself here. But yeah, let's.
No, somebody asking.
I don't know. Like
I'll try
this
to.
is.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, no.
This is.
No, you speak. You're older. Speak. Uploading image. What are you doing, dude? What the fuck?
I'm going to show you
Nvidia.
that. No, I'm showing my sweet rate to not LARP on the internet. You can see where I shorted and where I exited.
Very
Fuck you.
cool. Very cool. Nice. Now show position
fuck.
size.
Fuck all of you. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I don't know, like if BTS is going to pull back, like obviously look at all, like the simplest way really would be like look at the percentage gains today and just like trade these basically. I think like obviously this broke above this is spot market for some reason. It's at above the previous all-time high on perp, so this is decent chart. I saw something, like people talk about Matic now. There is this rebrand. There is some update actually.
Dude, Paul has like people know about it since like
But I mean,
macroeconomics.
okay, like the simplest way is like look at the percentage gain for today and like don't trade anything that has less gain than BTC. Like
Yeah, not like
the
me.
long. Yeah. I don't have ETH BTC here out of respect on.
I deleted ETH BTC out of my watch list today.
But to be fair, like a lot of altcoins are looking good. Like from simple price action perspective, Solana is looking pretty nice. I think Avax is also looking pretty nice. Sui, super strong. It's always, and we talked about this last week. It's always new coins, and it's always like layer ones, layer twos, because they are not complete shit, and that they actually have a little bit of use case. I see some talks about the AI rotation. I think Fetch is looking pretty solid because I think we talked about this maybe last week. There was like bunch of shorts entering here, and it's bouncing from like a nice level as well. So it's like, I don't think that if I would be betting something on AI, probably Fetch is looking pretty solid compared to Render and Altcoin. And then you have the new coins, which I have like no knowledge about at this point, and I don't really. I feel like
It's just
don't really
maybe
care.
with the new coins you have a guarantee of volatility, right? So if you're somebody who might have followed my first tutorial, which is me scalping 1 minute chart when I still had some hair on my head a year ago, it's like these new coins always guarantee you a lot of intraday trades, right? So if you're into lower time frame, getting your edge scalping, I think new coins is perfect. So right now, Dimension. PIF is it's new spot listing, but like these coins, that doesn't mean only longing, just for the context. And Adam saying these look relatively good it's worth noting these charts are like aggressive due to Bitcoin. Like always have to have a stop loss. There's no like this is not a positioning to be like martingaling into a shitcoin.
Yeah,
because
like,
if it turns, you're
like,
gonna go full 3 AC capital.
Like this is like Jupiter is down basically today, while like like you are buying the newest hot shit coin when thinking that you are capturing all the kind of beta in the market, while you're actually down compared to this thing going just
But
up
in
all
my
day.
defense, like that's often what happens with Bitcoin moons, right? With if BTC and many of the shitcoins do
Yeah,
pull
that's
back.
true.
And like Solana, clearly now Sui and a lot of the layer ones often been like a Bitcoin beta. I remember the
Yeah.
days when Doge used to be. Can we look at Doge, please? Because I mean, there's still people like talk about down bad. Like, are
Yeah.
you okay? What happened? That's Elon's
Yeah.
sell wall up around 82 cents probably from.
Yeah, all the. I think I don't know. I haven't kept track on the. I will until I die. I will keep calling this Twitter. I don't really care. The Twitter payment coming in. I don't know if that's like because this was this pump, right? Like the Twitter payments, X payments profile, kind of people thinking that they will accept Doge. I don't know if they actually will or what's the deal here.
I mean, hopefully not, because that'd probably be nail in the coffin for Doge for good. But
Yeah.
it's. I think that's the beauty. Like, a bit metaphorical here at the end is we talked about like having edges in the market developing, right? It's just by default progression, innovation, whatever you want to call it. Same with meme coins, right? Like Dogecoin used to be the meme coin. Then you had a bit of
I had
Shiba.
a it's kind of funny when I was actually traveling, and this is when the payments thing started happening. I thought for like 5 seconds that I could open a pair trade, basically longing Doge and shorting Pepe, as kind of a pair trade because like like to like having two meme coins. Meanwhile, this shit happened with Pepe, so it would be like very nice trade actually, which I never took. But yeah, just kind of off topic.
How
Not important.
Wave is pumping very hard today. I think you made the
Really.
pico bottom when you talked about it.
I made a fun of it, and it was literally the bottom. And I didn't even
Maybe
like.
can you do a less shit exchange?
Yeah. So you mean Maxi, which has the most data? Nice one. Yeah, I think I made fun of it around here. Actually, yeah, it's it is what it is. Yeah, but this is going up because Solana is doing fairly well. I guess.
Like in a lot of ways, I think most alpha I can provide is literally counter trade me.
Let's look at Ondo at Maxi, of course.
That
We
was
are,
chill yesterday.
from now on, we are only using Maxi charts.
I think you should log
And
this at this point because we're talking shit.
yeah, I don't know. Someone asking about this, I have like no idea what it is. I have people talking about the RVA, the real world assets as well. I have zero clue what that is as well. I just don't really keep up, so you might
No, the guy
enlighten
asking,
us.
look, Ondo, I like the memes. CT likes it. The RWA narrative. Look, I would put it this way. I think all the narratives are dog shit. I think it's a good narrative if the next person next to you believes it's good, right? It's basically it is, and like people hate it, but crypto is for the most part, what is it called? Bigger fool. What is it called in English?
I don't know.
Like you basically need to find another fool who will believe the narrative, and you basically
Yeah.
drop the potato to him. I think RWA is but from the better ones because it's easier to explain to boomers. Will people
It's like
buy Ondo
it's
though?
whole like what's the coin buying fucking bonds making
Maker.
yeah. This like the
Greater
real
fool
world
theory. Yeah,
assets.
yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. That's the English. Two idiots from Eastern Europe speaking English, being
Yeah.
contraindicators.
Something that I like genuinely never look at are meme coins for whatever reason. Like someone mentioned Flocky and Bonk being up. I think like meme coins lost this little bit of being cool. Obviously, Wave was huge now, but like it's like getting too many of them. Like they are, like I'm nowhere into like promoting on-chain stuff. Like, but like you will make your money on this shit when you are trading it on-chain before it. Okay, never mind. This is up a lot. I'm taking a bet. Yeah, but no, like I just don't really care at looking at meme coins. Yeah, like Bonk did million X, but yeah.
Somebody asking
Whatever.
a good question, which we both can answer. I'll go first because I trade for a prop, if you want to call it that, lol. any recommendation on getting funded for trading crypto? Look, if you
so I'm gonna do the shill, I guess. Yeah, I'm part of a breakout prop. You can check them out. You can get funded there. There is.
look,
It's
generally
all,
speaking, stop shilling your shit, dude. We shill bootcamp, blueprint, mental breakdown, like all the No, look, I would only say one thing: you need to be profitable.
yeah, definitely. There is like no point when you're not.
No, I think generally
Yeah.
speaking, like you need to be confident in yourself, because even if it's through like breakout or somebody you might know with money, you must like kind of convince them to give you a chance, right? And in the beginning you'll trade a small account, like you will not be given like a $2 million account from the start. So it's like a process. So just so let's say you're profitable, you get somebody with money, you will not start trading $1 million positions next day. It takes a lot of fucking time. At least it took me. And I highly recommend taking it slowly, just like a sport. You don't want to go lifting your PR squat on first session. You might actually fuck your legs up. These gin tonics are starting to kick.
Cool. So
It's
yeah,
been
I
70
think
minutes.
we are at the end. We are not going to bore you a little for longer. I do think, like Runner said, I think this was very useful stream, and you
once.
will most likely. Yeah, I think like Runner is posting like 150 tweets a day. I post like one a week at this point. I stopped really bothering.
I mean,
But yeah,
you
this
have
is
you have a family and girlfriend, like a
Yeah.
boyfriend. Sorry, uncle.
So yeah, but like that definitely is going to be like something you will see most likely from me a lot more coming forward, and it's something that you should be looking at. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for joining in, and we will see you. Runner is going to 8-star resort in Switzerland for skiing, so I don't know when he's going to be available. But once he's back from his mental health
Retreat.
yeah, mental health Eat BTC retreat, we will be streaming. I think next weekend, most likely.
No, that's why we're doing Friday, if somebody even noticed, because 11-star resort I'm going to is you can only leave on Friday, so
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and